What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is the 7th installment in the Star Wars series, picking up where The Return of the Jedi left off after Episode 6, and this movie is the revamped, reworked, reimagined version of what we should have had in the early 2000s. Now, before I start this review, I do want to say, I went into this movie obviously being a big fan of Star Wars, but I watched this movie like I watch every other movie. I was trying to pick out flaws in it. I was trying to find things that were wrong, and this is not a flawless film by any means. However, this movie is so well made and well produced and well written and well shot. There are very few things wrong with it, and I will get to the few things that are wrong, but in terms of things that it did well, those overshadow the things it did wrong by an insane amount. Now, John Boyega is the first one I will talk about. He is a stormtrooper who goes by the name Finn, and when he realizes that he doesn't agree with necessarily the policies of the First Order, which is the group that is taken over after the fall of the Empire, he decides to leave. John Boyega is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. He's really funny. This whole movie is actually really funny, and I think he works super well. He has great charisma throughout this entire film, and I think you can really see how big of a Star Wars fan he is because all of it is just oozing out of him in this film. He's so charismatic. He's so excited to be in this movie. So when Finn finally escapes the First Order, he then meets up with Rey, who is played by Daisy Ridley, who is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. You believe her character 100%. She's a new discovery, and it's great to see a new discovery be put into such a large-scale film and give such a good, real performance throughout the entire film. She's great in the action sequences, the emotional sequences, every sequence in this movie she's amazing, and honestly she steals the show from everyone else, which is pretty impressive when you look at this cast. Now, Finn and Rey end up running into Han Solo and Chewbacca and starting their adventure, and of course Harrison Ford and Chewbacca are amazing in this film. The whole movie, they're great. The banter between them is funny. Harrison Ford really feels back in his own playing Han Solo again, and none of it feels pandering towards the audience. It feels like it was a necessary thing to be put in this film for the story and for these characters, and to give you closure on some of these older characters, and I think it was just really good. Now, this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to go into very much, so all I'm going to say is that Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were both good in this film. I don't want to say a lot because neither of them is in this movie very much, but they are both good for the parts that they are in the film. Now, Oscar Isaac is also in this film playing Poe, who is a Rebellion X-Wing fighter pilot, and he's the best one in the galaxy, and he was great in this movie. He's not overly cocky like Han Solo is in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. However, that works for that character because it's kind of his charm throughout those movies. Poe is just like this, he's confident in his ability, but he's not overly confident about it. He's just like, yeah, I'm really good at this, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And he's like the coolest guy throughout this entire film. Every single scene he's in, you're like, he's not being a dick at all. He's just so cool throughout this entire film. Now, the biggest and best performance in this film, in my opinion, came from Adam Driver playing Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is one of the coolest characters that's ever been in a Star Wars film. I think he's going to make an absolutely phenomenal villain because he has those compelling aspects to him. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything about why or what or anything like that. However, he is just absolutely amazing. Adam Driver gives an amazing performance, and his character, you can actually feel for him, and that's what makes the best villain, is a villain that you can feel for. You don't agree with what they're doing, but you understand why they do it, and Ren has that quality, which I think will make him another great character, and another great villain that we'll get to see on film for years to come. Honestly, after watching this movie, J.J. Abrams was the perfect man for the job. This movie has great wide shots, long shots, none of the CGI is overly flashy, and honestly, this movie was just filmed beautifully. All the space sequences, every single sequence in this movie, I don't know how you could change something in the direction because it all looks so good. The story was also great. This story is what's going to lure in and pull in the next generation of Star Wars fans, and I think this movie is perfect for doing it. This is a great movie. It pulls you in early, and it keeps you there. It keeps you excited, and you constantly just want more and more and more, which this movie gives you. This movie has amazing action. The space battles are insanely cool. The lightsaber battles, every single fight scene in this movie is great, and the score going with it, and the pacing. This movie's pacing is so good. It never gives you a chance to really catch up which can be bad in some movies. However, with this, J.J. Abrams takes the time to slow down in sequences where it's still moving the plot forward, but you're not getting those crazy action sequences with it. However, you still feel like you're moving forward in the film and you're gaining more about these characters. This movie also used practical effects way more than the prequels, and they wanted to do that because they didn't want to rely on CGI so heavily. You'll have to use CGI no matter what in a Star Wars film, but they didn't want that to be every single scene being full of green screen. And they achieved that beautifully. There's so much great makeup and prosthetics and masks for the aliens in this film, and I loved it. And this is the only place where there is also a con that falls into the film with this category. Keep in mind, these are the two very minor issues that I found with this film. One is there are a couple characters in this film, two to be exact. There's two characters, I won't spoil who they are, what they do, anything like that. But they are chosen to be CGI characters, you know, green screen performances. And when I was watching the film, it didn't pull me out of the movie, but the thing is there were sequences where you would have whole rooms filled with these practical effects, aliens and monsters and stuff, and then I didn't understand why they chose to make a character that has dialogue sequences with main characters a green screened CGI character rather than just making it practical. It didn't look terrible and it didn't pull me out of the film entirely, but when I was watching it, I just didn't understand that choice because to me it was very clear that it was a CGI'd alien character, and I didn't understand the choice to make that one CGI'd rather than just make it practical when you made whole rooms full of practical aliens in this film. Now this last thing is not a con and it's not a pro, it kind of is a weird combination, the ending of this film. It leaves you with a cliffhanger, and I don't mind cliffhangers when I know sequels are coming. I loved the ending to this film. I think it was great. When it ended, I immediately wanted to talk about Star Wars and I wanted to see more Star Wars, and that's exactly what you want from a movie like this. However, I wish there would have just been a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit, and I really don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say what I want, but I wish there would have just been a little bit more at the end of the film, because I really think it would have added just a little bit to the story that would have given you that extra push. I mean, it's not like you needed, this movie was already amazing, but just another little extra push, like an extra little nugget for the fans of Star Wars. I understand their choices, but to me, I wish they would have just given us just that little bit, that last little taste of sweetness of Star Wars before it ended. I'm gonna give Star Wars The Force Awakens an A. If you are a fan of Star Wars or a fan of movies, go see this movie. It's extremely well made, it's a ton of fun, it's one of the best experiences that I've ever had in the movie theaters, seeing a film. All the fans that were in there were super excited. Everyone loves Star Wars when you go see Star Wars opening weekend, and that's what gives you that like sense of camaraderie about this, you know, crazy movie universe, and everyone loves it so much. And I really think if you are a fan of Star Wars, see this movie in theaters because you can't trade the experience for anything. This movie was made by people who clearly love Star Wars, and that's what made it great. And I don't think that you can change that, and I don't think there's any way to reverse that effect, because when you give someone that truly loves a series the helm of a film, then you know you're going to end up with something that at least most of the movie the fans will like. And I think that that's what J.J. Abrams did with this movie. Well guys, I want to thank you for getting me to 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and also if you want a spoiler-filled review of Star Wars, leave a comment down below, let me know, I can do that. I will be seeing this movie a second time, and if you want that spoiler review, just leave a comment and I will get that up. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Force Awakens, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.